Welcome back, everyone. Episode 140 of the Jiu-Jitsu Dummies podcast. We are brought to you by Black Belt Digital Marketing. Anything you need to build your business on or offline. It's website design, Google Ads, reputation management, local SEO, graphic design, printing. We can absolutely help with anything. Check us out at Black Belt Digital Marketing on Instagram, or you can visit our website, bbdigitalmarketing.com. Request a free review of your online presence today. My name is Milton Campus. I'm a black belt training out of South Florida. We got Christian behind the camera today. Woo! Bo is not here. He'll be back in when we have an in-house guest. Don't forget to like, comment, download, share, click that subscribe button. We'd appreciate the support. Joining us today for third or fourth visit. What is it, Yoshi?
I think third.
Third visit. You know him as the move of the day guy. We got Yoshi Yamaguchi coming to us in just a couple of seconds, a couple of minutes. We're going to do a couple of quick shout-outs, Yoshi, and then we'll bring you in. Thank you to our friends over at Flow and Roll. Hands down, the best custom gi and no-gi gear in the business. Don't believe us? Visit them on Instagram at flow_and_roll. Check out all their custom designs. They work with academies across the country. The cool thing that they do is a pre-order program. So if you are a gym or an academy, you're just getting started, or you've been around for a while and you just hate laying out 5, 10, 15 grand for all your gear, talk to Flow and Roll, talk to Sean at Flow and Roll, and he'll talk to you about a pre-order program where you can actually put your stuff on his website. You know, he'll create the stuff, put it on his website, and your students can order from there. You get the money, you get the profits, but it's an easier way. You don't have to lay out the money. Your students are paying for their gear, and you get any of the profits at the end. But it's a great way to get your gear without laying out that big fucking, 10, 15 grand, paycheck. So, again, check them out, flowandroll.com, and you get 20% off with code JJD on any of your online orders, not your pre-orders, okay? Also, check out Leo Optics. I don't have my sunglasses on me right here. Hold on one second. Let's see. You have them. Let me put them on. Let's do this. Let's do this right. Sorry, guys. The AC is out in the studio. It's hot, and we were late, so we got everything against us today. So Leo Optics is a sunglass and apparel company specializing in signature bamboo sunglasses. So these are pretty awesome. They actually look like wood. You see, they give you a little red stripe if you're a black belt. They'll come like this with the stripe. If you want your belt stripe, you just, when you order, you request it. They'll put blue, purple, brown, the whole nine. And then if you're a black belt, they'll give you the red stripe. So check them out. Their passion is rooted in the jiu-jitsu lifestyle, founded in Southern California with products reflecting the BJJ lifestyle. So check them out at leooptics.com and use code JJD for 10% off. And then we got a quick shout out to one of our friends. We got John Way Martial Arts in Plantation. They were actually awarded by the city with a John Way Martial Arts Day. They've been in that. They've been there for decades, and they're just like a big part of the Plantation community. So on Saturday, April 27th, between 8:30 and 2:30, you can go over there, check them out. They're having a John Way Martial Arts Day celebration. You can go to johnwaymartialartsday.com for all of the details. But you can go. They're going to have some guests coming in. They're going to run classes. It's going to be really cool. So go check them out. I'm going to try to get over there. I'm not 100% that I could be there, but I'm going to try to get out there. That's it. Let's do this. Yoshi.
What up?
Bring in finally. Thank you, brother. I've thanked you about 5 times already. Appreciate you being so patient. There was a double booking here at the studio. Kind of partially my fault. I was using an old link. They went to a new system. Christian's pointing at himself here. It's totally Christian's fault. He completely fucked me on this one. No, just kidding. Now it was just, they've been changing the system, and I didn't fill something out. I didn't get the new link, blah, 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 blah. So we wound up double booking with some other guys. They actually had, I sat in the studio while they were doing this. They had, OJ just died, right? But they had a guy that used to be friends with OJ. They had a guy, that was in the studio, old timer. Guess he runs a strip joint down in Miami, a high-end strip joint for stars, celebs, and sports. People who want to kind of keep it quiet. I think it's actually the old Solid Gold they said in Miami. It's called what is it called? Dean's Gold. Christian, what was it called? Dean's Gold. You got a shirt there, no? It's like Dean's Gold, I think it's called now. Used to be called Solid Gold, I think. And so I'm over here listening. And I'm half so interested in the stories, and then half hurry up and get done, guys. Come on. They had a half-hour podcast. They wound up going almost an hour. So I was just oh, shit. But so it was interesting to hear. So it was kind of cool. Old timer in here that was friends with OJ. So they were, they're talking
OJ
about
the juice, man.
Yeah. And the big question they were asking, they asked him at the end was like, basically, do you think he did it? The last one, do you think he did it? He's like, well, no, but he didn't want to talk about it.
No, but
he didn't want to really talk about it, but no, he said no. He's like, no, I don't think he did it. I think he got railroaded.
No, for sure.
I'm over there like, hey, you got the mouse on Yoshi's face there, bro. So yeah, you're good. So I'm over there like, bullshit. He did it. Say he did it. Come on, he did it. He did it. He's dead. You could say it. So. But man, welcome, brother. How you doing, man? How you been? Yeah,
doing amazing, bro. Thanks for having me. It was so good to see you, Milton. I got my little cup of cafecito, little jiu-jitsu
Hey, how you doing?
Cafecito
How you doing? I got my water. I'm ready to pour over my head because it's hot as fucking here, bro.
I'm excited.
Did I say it on it? The AC's out. The AC's out. We're late. Lots of craziness this past week, but happy to be here. It's my favorite day of the week. And look, dude, you want to freaking sound like a freaking like a fanboy. I love your stuff. I love talking to you. I don't think there's been like a second on the podcast when I've spoken to you that you don't have a smile on your face. and that's like, I like to surround myself with people who are positive, and that.
Yeah, man.
My life is hard. I run 2 businesses basically. So when I'm, outside of, actually running the business or doing sales, like if I could surround myself with people that are positive and like fucking, just making things happen, it's nice. You want. Yeah. I had somebody on one time that said like, I know that other people have said this, but like you're the combination of like the 5 people that are closest to you. Like if you show me your 5 closest friends, and I'll show you who you are. Like, so like in my mind, I'm always trying to like talk to or be surrounded by people that are like positive, hard workers, motivated, appreciative, and then really don't let the bad shit get to them. Like life is fucking hard. And I'm just like, oh, man, I'm over there going, fuck, shit, but then I'm like, I always just tell them 1 foot in front of the other. If it did not kill me, I will get through this. It's going to be hard. I got fucking divorced last year. It's like,
oh shit.
I got, like 1 foot in front of the other, man, you'll get through this, so I live by that. It gets me through, the hard times and, and,
100%.
There's always something going on outside. So, but how you been, man? What's been going on?
Busy as hell.
Yeah.
Everything's been so good, bro. Everything's so good. Life is super good. Super happy right now.
So number one, I saw a couple of things online recently. So you're looking for a roommate. Did you get a roommate yet? Did you get a new roommate? I think you said, I saw you post something. You had your roommate moved out.
I thought that just went out to like my close friends.
Oh, all right. Wait, we're not close. We're not close friends, bro. What's up?
No, like on Instagram.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put your shit out there. I said, hey, I'm looking. Hey, got my roommate moved out. I'm looking for a new roommate. We'll try to get somebody in there for you.
Sure. My college friend from we've been living together for years. He's from New York. He ended up moving back home. So.
Oh yeah. Where in New York? Where in New York is he from?
Queens.
Okay. All right. I'm way up on the island, way out on the island, like an hour from Queens.
Yeah, he's Queens, Jackson Heights.
Okay. What? So, you still working at the school?
Yeah, so I still work at university. I'm in my last year of my doctorate program, so it's getting pretty intense.
Shit.
So like finding the time to balance everything with school is pretty intense right now, but it's fun. I'm actually doing research on martial artists, on athletes. So I'm looking at how participation in martial arts and how participation in like pretty much just jiu-jitsu and judo, looking at the grappling, because that's my world.
Yeah.
How that helps you develop like as a leader, gives you qualities and characteristics of leadership, as well as how does that develop your character, and how does the combination of like getting like character development from martial arts, how does that impact your leadership styles? So research is pretty interesting right now, so I'm pretty happy about it.
So what kind of people are you talking to for that? Are you like black belts, professors, business people, right?
Yeah. So the goal is to talk to people that have been practicing for like consistently and for a long time. So I'm looking at black belts. I really want to do competitor black belts that have competed at black belt in their sport, either judo or jiu-jitsu. And I want to see them like people that are in high levels of leadership. So like manager levels. I know one guy that's like one of the heads guys for the hospital. He's a half Gracie black belt, competes all the time. I know another guy, he's a head engineer for Credit Karma. Another guy's head engineer for Google. All black belts. Some of them compete more than others, but just people that have participated in the, in the community, in the martial arts world. And how does that like participation in the sport, how does that help them in their professional roles?
Oh, wow. That's great, man. So it's going to be,
Yeah,
is it going to be Dr. Professor Yoshi Yamaguchi?
Professor, Mr. Yoshi, Sensei.
Or
At the end.
do we? Yeah. How do we write that out? You know, it's just like Doctor So and So, MD, LDC. What all those letters after the name? Do
Yeah,
you? Do people call you Professor?
Some of them do, but I just tell them to call me Yoshi. I mean, Professor is such it's a pretty funny term for just a dude who rolls around with dudes.
I've talked to like my training partners, and some of my training partners will call me Professor now, and I'm like, but I'm not a teacher in my school, so I'm like, you can call me Professor. I said, if you ever see me out with a girl, definitely call me Professor. Definitely, call me Professor. Thank you. I appreciate you in advance for saying it. But I'm like, they say it, I don't correct them, but when they say it, like I've said, like, I consider like my teachers, my professors, right? My coaches. Yeah. It's interchange coach, professor. If it's a black belt, what's your thought on that? Like, should you only be called professor if you're a teacher? Because I think like some of the lower belts automatically assume, oh, you're a black belt, now you're called professor.
Yeah, if you're a teacher, I think it depends. Like if you see a bunch of stripes on a belt, also they're just like, even if they're just hanging out at the gym.
Yeah,
like, I don't know. I think it's kind of just like if it's someone in your gym that you have a relationship, maybe like, you don't have to call him professor every time, but especially like I love traveling and doing jiu-jitsu. I love every time I'm on vacation, I bring my gi. Every trip I go to, I always bring a gi. So like always just to keep it respectful, like letting them know like, oh yeah, it's just like, hello, sir, but instead of sir, it's just like hello, professor, like things like that.
Yeah.
But I'm not like super strict on it, like especially with people like talking to me. It's like I'm pretty low key. I don't even like it when people like I've been to some gyms where it's like the instructor has to let you on the mat and you have to like wait on the edge, like, oh shit.
Yeah.
If like they show up late. And I even feel like that kind of too much. Like I just like jiu-jitsu is such a chill environment that when we bring all these formalities into it, kind of like, I don't know, takes away from the reason that we're supposed to be there.
Yeah, I guess it's more like the traditional side, right? I mean, if it's a more traditional gym, the coach is like probably straight out of Brazil, or I guess like the more stripes, the more traditional they are, right? They've been around a little longer.
I think with tradition, like the mixture of ego kind of conflicts it and kind of like, blows it up to something where it's like, where's the line being drawn between the two,
Yeah. I think like when I appreciate it and I believe in it a little bit more for the kids classes.
No,
because
for sure.
A big reason why they're there, a lot of the kids like discipline, right? And teaching them how to be respectful. In my school, I think it's usually coach, professor. They call him Mr. Felipe. I think is what he prefers. Actually, there's a Mr. Felipe, Miss Sophia, the wife, his wife, my coach as well. I'll usually, when I get there, it's usually like if I'm in front of other lower belts and I'm addressing my coach, I will make sure that I say professor. Hey, professor, little dap, little shaking of the hands.
Yeah.
Because it's not that I'm a special at all. I'm older than my professor, so I kind of feel like when we're off to the side, I have a little bit more of like a friendship relationship. I'm help with the marketing in my school now, so like we have a little bit of a different relationship. We're talking outside, but when I'm in front of other people, I definitely try to keep it respectful. And I'm also there's a couple of us in my school that have license to maybe joke around when you better not be a white belt saying what we're saying in the middle of class. We might be able to get away from it. Yeah. So like every time my coach will say something about like bigger players and he looks over at me, I'll be like, what? Why are you looking at me? So I can make a little bit of a joke and he lets me get away with it. And, we have a little bit of fun with it, but you're definitely not doing that if you're white or, a blue belt. You better be careful. And, it's kind of like the speak when spoken to kind of thing, I guess, when you're a lower belt. Or you should just kind of, you got to get gain your stripes, and then you have a little bit of license to do it. But yeah, I still feel weird, going back to the professor thing. I still feel weird when somebody calls me that, but it is a good feeling. I mean, 10 years in, and do I feel like I deserve it? No, but it's just kind of nice when somebody says it.
Yeah,
it's kind of
I
cool.
think like I have Gracie, so I see Half all the time, and it's like I see when I'm with him in like at jiu-jitsu like events or tournaments or fights. like people go up to him and say Master Gracie, like, and he is master. So like, I feel like the same thing. If I'm in front of them, but I might be more inclined to say it. But I think if it's just like in the gym and I'm seeing him, he's more Uncle Health than Master Health.
Yeah.
You know?
At what point does it go from professor to master?
I think when you have your name on the building, it goes from professor to master. When your face is painted on the wall.
Yeah. When you're a household name in the world of jiu-jitsu, I guess you can call yourself whatever you want.
Yeah, for real.
You know, I've never had anybody like call me professor. It's oh, Felipe, it's sensei. Like I've never had anybody do that to me. I've also really only, trained at 2 schools, right? As far as like my own, jiu-jitsu education, other than visiting other gyms. I've never been, I was like my first coach's really first student in his school. His first blue belt. So it was like very mild. Again, traded for marketing. I had helped him do the marketing. So it was like, again, we were actually the same age. So it was kind of like a friendship as well as the mentor-mentee. And then the second school, same thing. Like I'm a little bit older, came into it like, again, I'm a business owner myself. I'm a family guy. I'm older than you. I was never put in a place where it was like, you must respect this.
Yeah, bow to your sensei.
Yeah, so we never do that. But it's funny because I felt like I did bring in some. I still was respectful to my first coach, and again, when lower belts were in, lots of. I brought us to my school from my first school. So like when we would line up, like nobody said it, and like he would be like, line up, bow. And when I bow, we just always used to bow and say "os" in my first school. So then I started doing it. Nobody did it, and then I started saying it louder. And I was just like, I was one of the higher belts there, and at a blue belt, I was one of the higher belts. It was very rare that there was somebody like purples and browns at the time. Now there are, but I would just say it, and then I started saying it louder, and then it became a thing, and then people started to say it more. But then I kind of let it go, and I'm just like, if I say it, hey, everybody got that move? Everybody good? We're ready? Os. And then, okay, ready to go, like that. So it's kind of like the thing, but nobody was doing it before I was there. But that was kind of like one of the respectful things that I felt like I brought from the first school. The bowing on the edge of the mat, I do have I've got a couple of guys that have come from other schools, and they do that, where if they're late, they stand on the edge of the mat and wait. And he's always just like, yeah, come on, just get on the fucking mat. Come on, You could get on the mat and he's not going to say a word. I've showed up late and I don't wait. I may just catch his eye, but I'm not waiting for like permission to come on. We don't do that there. But But I get that. I get that respectful stuff is nice. It's good. It's good to have that respect.
Yeah, and it's like a balance, right? Because like, of course, you're supposed to bow onto the mat because I think like we're bowing to the art itself, like what the art stands for.
Yeah.
And then like, but just waiting on the edge, it's kind of this like, it's almost like a power trip when like you make your students like ask for permission to step on the mat.
Yeah, I got a funny story about bowing to the mat. It was actually my ex-wife. She went to a kickboxing school. She brought her friend who was like, used to be her boss. She brought her friend who's very religious, and she brought her friend, and not everybody did it there, but some people would bow before they stepped into the kickboxing. So it was more of like, one of those like, it's called raw kickboxing, but it was like called like people know like the I Love Kickboxing is like the franchise across the country, right? So I used to joke with her like dance fighting, like, you're going in, hit the bag, like let's all hit the bag in unison or do the same thing, kind of like that. It's more than that. I don't want to dismiss it. It's a great school and I love the people over there. But some of the people bowed when they came in. So when she brought her to like a class, like invited her, like, hey, come check out the class, this thing that I love. And she told her afterwards, like later at work, that she didn't want to go back, that she felt it was kind of culty because people were bowing to the mat when they came in the studio. And I was just like, that's, I guess, uninitiated, you don't really know, first time in a studio like that. Yeah, just kind of, it looked kind of culty to her and she never went back. So I said, that's just an excuse. She just doesn't want to exercise.
I was thinking about that actually the other day when we had promotions and, Half Gracie, we don't do the Gauntlet, but the other gym I train at, Cave Academy, we still do. And someone got
I saw you getting whipped. I saw you getting whipped. I saw you. When you got your black belt.
And then someone's got their purple belt and they got their gauntlet. And I'm just like, man, thank fuck no one's here on their first day. Imagine if you just your first day of jiu-jitsu and like it's just so brand new and then you see them whipping each other. It'd be so crazy.
What do you think about that? I mean, I saw you getting it done to you when you got your black belt, right? What's your overall thought? If you owned a school, would that be part of the culture?
If it's not going to be required, but if someone wants to do it, they could do it because it is something that's like based on tradition.
But tradition here or tradition going back to Brazil? Because I think that's really like a U.S. thing that happened.
Only reason I say tradition is I can only go back to as long as I've been in jiu-jitsu.
Okay, fair enough.
It's been a staple since I've started.
Yeah.
So that's not that long in the history of jiu-jitsu.
I'm thinking back. I know that we did the Gauntlet at my first school, but I mean, my belts. I think we even did it when we got stripes. See, we were a small school; it was new, so I think we even did it when we got some stripes. But my first school, we did it, and I only went to, I was white and white with stripes, and then to blue, and then then the school closed, and I went to another school. So yeah, I forgot that we did it. We did do it in the first school. It was a small school though. So it was like 5 guys hitting each other,
Yeah. So like in judo, when I got my black belt in judo, like the head sensei is a traditional guy. Everyone gets to throw you 3 times. Whoever's in the class gets to throw you 3 times. The first one is for judo, the sport of judo. The second throw is for the instructor, because the instructor doesn't throw 3 times. Only the students throw 3 times. Second throw is for the instructor, and the third person's for the person throwing. And so like I remember when I got my black belt in judo, there was like 100, like 120 people there. So,
Did they all threw you?
Times. It took about 30 minutes to get through that section of like the congratulations.
While you're getting thrown, are they promoting the next guy and just getting you through the line?
Like at the end, everyone bows out, and then everyone just lines up.
Yeah.
And then they just ask you to stand in the middle.
Yeah.
And everyone who got promoted, I was the only one that got promoted that day. So everyone just threw me 3 times. But like that takes a lot. I feel like that's almost, even though it's like nicer than getting whipped, it's like I feel like that's a lot harder than just running through a gauntlet in 10 seconds. I don't
really have like an opinion on it really necessarily, like if it shouldn't be done. My school doesn't do it. I think we have a heavy kids presence, teens and kids, and he built up his kids program, and those kids and teens are now coming into the adult program, which is amazing to see. Like I've been at this school for 7 years, and like I remember little kids who are like men now, like 19, 20, 21. Like now I'm, used to, throw these guys around, and now there's like, I can talk about a few of them. Like they're men fighting us now. And I don't really like, it was never a thing there, because I think, for kids, like not everybody's going to get it, I've never seen like a kids class whipping, right? Like I've never seen like children going through that. So we just don't do it in my school. It's never been a thing. I don't really necessarily have an opinion on it either way. What I don't like is when I see like the professor at the end, like whipping multiple times as hard as they can. I don't necessarily understand the benefit, or, okay, like what's traditional about that? Okay, you know what? You do it one time hard, but like literally I've seen guys line up. I've seen the professor go from like the end whip, go all the way down to the other, and you're walking down and he's meeting you at the other end and then doing it again. Like, what's
to get it in.
Yeah, I don't necessarily understand the purpose of that. Where is, the tradition or the respect of where does that come from? So, and even when we did it in my school, we left our rash guards on, like we left our tops on, so it was just like, okay, it wasn't that bad. I certainly probably whipped guys that were pains in a little bit of a pain in the ass, whipped them a little harder, but I certainly wasn't like trying to like draw blood. And sometimes in some of these videos, it looks like these guys are like really trying to like, they want to hurt. They want it. They want the mark. They want to see that mark on your body.
Some people go fucking all out and throw it. Like I've actually missed once, and I hit someone like in the head, like close to their eyes.
Yeah.
And ever since then, now I'm just like, I'll tap them. Yeah. Just to like, ceremoniously, but like, I don't want to miss again. I felt pretty bad about that.
I'm sure there'll be a point and I wind up in a school or something during a promotion, or and maybe they do it. So.
Wait, since the last time we talked, you got promoted.
I did. I get promoted to black belt in December before Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I appreciate that. Now,
awesome,
the name of my marketing company has always been Black Belt Digital Marketing, at least for like the last 3 years. So I used to say, when I was a brown belt, people would say, "Oh, or do you do martial arts?" I said, "Yes, I'm a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, but I'm a black belt at marketing." That's the way I would say it to them, and I would do this whole fist and everything. So now I do get to say, are you a black belt? Yes, I got my black belt, and it's I think I think people that understand martial arts, like they definitely respect, like, wow, and it's minimum of like 10 years, like most people, right? 10 years. I got promoted to blue belt very quickly. I was like in 6 months. So then like my journey was right at like 9 years, like little over 9 years, and I got my black belt. If I would have done the, you know, like the year for the white belt or more. But I was like, my coach, I was like literally going to class and it was me and my coach. So I was like getting privates with a black belt for 2 hours, 6 days a week. So like there's and then I went to a competition and I beat guys half my age. I double golded like my first competition, and he actually wanted to promote me before like the end of the year. And I said, hey, there's a competition in January. Can you wait? And like I'd like to compete at white belt one time. And he was like, yeah, we'll postpone the promotions till after the holidays.
Nice.
I went, I double golded. Everybody was half my age. I mean, I was 40 at the time, so guys were in their 20s, maybe not half my age now. They were like, I remember the guys were 25, 26. There was nobody my age. Beat everybody, double golded, and he was just like, yeah, you definitely deserve it. So I got, you know, it wasn't just like, hey, here's your blue belt early, but it was nice to, you know, like I feel like I earned. I was glad I did that, and I earned it.
Yeah.
And I had it at 6 months. So that was like my shortest. That's why if not, it would have been over 10 years. Like, right, I would have fallen into that. People say like, it's at least 10 years, right? You figure a year to 2 years at almost every belt, right? If you do 2 years at every belt, right, it's 10 years. So what does your school do? I mean, you know, again, there's always this argument over like time versus like time on the mat versus, you know, competition or actual skill on the mat. I know we've probably talked about it before. You know, what's your opinion on like the, you know, how people give belts and the way different schools do it?
It's so different person to person.
Yeah.
It's like, what's their motivation? What's their goal with jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
Are they competing? Are they not competing? What age are they? How much are they helping out to the community rather than, you know, competition?
Yeah.
Like, there's just so many different pathways to a black belt. Like, I think that like someone who's competing a lot, you know, probably gets sped up a little bit of the way. I think there comes into times where it's like maybe they actually get delayed because like the professor wants them to compete more and more. Like I've seen some people go that route too, but I think for
almost kind of call like it could be in some cases they call it sandbagging. But but I do agree, like, you know, like these days, like, you know, you could be showing up at a local competition that's like a new breed and be fighting somebody who quote unquote is more like a pro coach.
Yeah,
this is their life. This is their job, right?
Yeah. Like even just looking at the way jiu-jitsu is this evolution, like evolutionized, grew. It's like when I was a blue belt, the competition was, you know, it was intense, but it wasn't nearly as technical as the blue belts today.
True.
You see teenage blue belts today compared to when I started back in like, you know, talking about 2007, 2008, when I was just a blue belt, 2009. So it's just like, it was pretty archaic back then compared to what kids are doing now. There was no blue belts berimboloing or taking the back the way they do or single leg Xing. Like it was pretty basic. So it's just like, I feel like like it's always going to be different when the times change because like where's jiu-jitsu at the moment? But I think like, yeah, it's just so different for every person. The trajectory of getting to the black belt depends on what their goal is. Like if they're just like recreational hobbyists, they're competitors. You know, it's, and like, there are some times where it's like, okay, this guy's been training for a very long time, even though he's not the greatest skill wise, he's dedicated and he deserves it, you know? Yeah. I mean, you're going to run into those too.
I mean, I agree with all of that. I know that, you know, sometimes, well, first of all, if you're a student worried about how fast or how slow somebody else is getting a belt, or you get a little sour because you didn't get then you're doing this for the wrong reason.
That's another year, right? If you ask for it,
right? Yeah, I mean that's pretty much like, well, first of all, if you're new to jiu-jitsu, don't ask, or you're new to jiu-jitsu or judo or any martial art, never ask, when am I going to get promoted, or just, you know, you might have to ask like, hey, was there a promotion scheduled? Like, what's the date? Maybe. Okay, so I make sure that I'm here, but don't ask for a belt. But I mean, like, it's easier to say once you get to what, you know, a lot of people consider the goal of getting the black belt, right? I don't the closer I got to black belt, the less I considered it the goal. I was actually more nervous and like, wow, the expectations are really going to be high, right? You're a black belt. Somebody comes into your gym, you know, visitors, what have you, like.
Miss your morning routine, Bar Pro.
A lot of special thank you to the crew over at Flow and Roll for all their support. Flow and Roll is renowned for their incredible no-gi rash guards, shorts, and leggings. Flow and Roll has quickly become the premier custom apparel provider for academies big and small throughout the United States. Reach out today to discuss your custom order and ask about their incredible pre-order program. You can send an email to flowandroll@gmail.com or visit their Instagram at flow_n_roll and shoot them a direct message. And yes, they can create an awesome custom gi for your academy as well. Visit flowandroll.com to check out their awesome designs, and while you're there, pick up a Jiu-Jitsu Dummy signature tee exclusively at flowandroll.com. And remember, you'll get 20% off your purchase of t-shirts, rash guards, or gis with code JJD.
You're a black belt. You better know your shit. You know, I started going more, making sure I was going. Like I've said this before. I really wanted to earn it. I didn't want it to be time on the mat. I wanted to be like, I really want to like go in and be like, look, I'm here. I feel like I do help. New guys come in, especially if they're bigger. Like I'll roll with them. I'll work on basics while everybody else is rolling. You know, like I definitely like to help when I can, or when I'm asked, and even when I'm not asked. So, you know, I feel like I put in that little extra effort all of the time, but especially at the end, like, or at the end of, you know, at Brown. But, you know, yeah, everyone's journey is different. Can't worry about why this guy, I mean, you know, I've seen it in my own gym. Like, really, that guy's getting promoted? Yeah, but like, I don't think he listens to the show. So I'll kind of say that, you know, I'm not gonna say his name, but we do have a guy in my gym that's like, you know, he came to the gym and he only wanted privates. His brother did jiu-jitsu and he wanted to do privates at our school. And my coach's like, I don't do privates. Just come to the adult class. And definitely like was a little, maybe we'll just say like not super comfortable in the group setting. And, you know, he came all the time and his jiu-jitsu wasn't the best. But when, you know, he kind of knew like the promotion was coming, like, you know, purple belt, doesn't show up for warm-ups, you know, his shrimping looked kind of weird. His rolls looked kind of strange. He'd stay after class and he started working on that stuff. And I think like for months. And that was, I think, impressive to, you know, to the coaches. Like, yeah, you may not be the best, you know, hip escaper, and you may not, you know, get over that shoulder roll. Like you may look awkward rolling over, you know, doing your rolls or your Granbys, whatever you want to call it. But, you know, he put in that extra effort and he got promoted, and he's not the best, jiu-jitsu practitioner that we have in the gym, but he certainly put in the time. And I tell people, understand something. He came to this school wanting to just do privates, did not want to do classes because it was hard for him to be in that setting. And he did it anyway. So like that goal that he reached, that he got through, that like barrier that he got through just to make himself more comfortable to roll in a setting in a group with other people was a huge victory for him. So when you're looking at him and going like, well, I'm better than him, how come he's got, you know, stop that. Don't say that. You don't know his story and what he's been through and what it took for him to get here. And, you know, when somebody's doesn't have the natural attributes, you know, you've got to take that into consideration. And a good coach is going to take that into consideration where the other students, it's like, number one, it's none of their fucking business, but you're not considering those things. Like I knew that story because I heard it from my coach. So I knew that story. So when I tell people, guys, understand something. He came here not wanting to even roll with a whole bunch of guys. He just wanted to come do privates and go home and just be like with one-on-one. And it took him a lot to even show up to do the classes. So, you know, again, everybody's different, and, you know, good for him. He got his brown belt, and, you know, and he's still training, you know, and one day he's going to get his black, and he may not be the best black belt, but, you know, he still comes. He's still, you know, it's funny because, I did see him as like spending more time doing stuff. And then I saw him rolling with some, like, I feel like when I rolled with him, I would beat him up a lot. And then I saw him rolling with some of the lower belts, and I'm like, wow, like, he's not showing me those skills. Like, wow, his skill is showing. It's like, oh wow, I was impressed. I hadn't really watched him a lot rolling with other people. I just know my rolls with him. And I just felt like, it was like, you know, beating him up a lot. Yeah, the skill isn't there. And then I would see him roll with other people. And I guess, you know, he was able to really kind of showcase his skill a little bit more. So, you know, everybody's journey's a little different, you know.
That's awesome though. Like when someone asks me like, what does success in jiu-jitsu mean to you, or what does that look like? I feel like, learning techniques, winning tournaments is like one part of it, but a bigger part of it is like taking the application and like all the things that you've gotten from jiu-jitsu, not just being like fighting in stressful situations, learning how to control your own body.
Yeah.
Like, how does that help you benefit as a person? So I hope that this guy at your gym, like he learned a lot about himself in the process of like, not being comfortable in a group setting, then being in a group setting, and then even moving forward from that, trying to better himself in his jiu-jitsu. So I feel like those personal wins, that's the success in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
That's
and really, and any martial art, I mean, I don't know a lot about like karate and like I did a little, I think everybody at every guest on the show at some point, like, yeah, mom put me in Taekwondo when I was a kid. I mean, obviously that's not karate, but right. Like everybody has a story of, they might've done something before. So I don't know a lot about, I did karate for a little bit and I don't really remember the belt system, but it was a little bit more about like testing, read this, test this, be able to count to 10, be able to say these moves, katas and things like that. Like we don't have that, right? I don't know. My first school, for like my first stripe, I had to like test and do some like sweeps and things like that for like my very first stripe, but then we never did it again. And my school, we don't test. Do you guys test in your school, or is it just a little bit more of like the professors?
So the academies I train at, there's no test. I do privates with a guy. He trains at a different academy, and he's a white belt, and they do testing. So like his academy, they have a different system. They don't do 4 white stripes. They do like 1 blue stripe. And then once you have the blue stripe, then you take another test for your blue belt. So it's just like, instead of 4 stripes, there's like 1 stripe and then the belt test. So I'm helping him get ready for his blue stripe test.
Is that judo though? Is that judo or is it jiu-jitsu?
It's jiu-jitsu.
It's jiu-jitsu. Okay. So what did you say? One stripe, and then 1 blue, and then that's it?
Stripe, not white stripes.
Okay.
1 blue. They call it the blue bar.
Okay.
And then I guess if he passes that, then he's eligible to train more and then take the blue belt test.
Okay.
So like I'm not really familiar with jiu-jitsu academies doing belt testing. When I was at a Muay Thai school, of course, like there's no belts in Muay Thai, but they had little sashes that you put around your shorts. And so like every few months there'd be a new sash color test, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like, that model's kind of like that Taekwondo karate model. And I mean, if it helps them learn the technique, that's good. But at the same time, I feel like the testing is just like, it's just kind of weird. From someone who didn't grow up in that culture of belt testing, or like, these are the things that qualify you as a purple belt or a blue belt. Like once you know these, you're a blue belt. And it's just like, there's all the, I don't know, those like, you should know those things for a blue belt, but I think there's just more to it than just testing.
Our version of the gauntlet and the test at my school is, if you're getting promoted, like we pretty much know, like, okay, this is promotion day, or maybe sometimes we don't know. And it's just like, we have class, everybody lines up, and then he'll be like, all right, he'll call out people. And like, we have it's a pretty, I mean, for Florida, at least Florida schools, this is a pretty big, it would be the equivalent of like 3 or 4 storefronts. So it's a pretty big gym. And then we have like 2 sides with another set of mats where the women used to train. So we'll line up, and then he'll be like, Milt here, so-and-so here, you go here, like, and maybe set us up in like 4 squares, and like you have enough, like almost like a competition match scenario. And usually like when he calls that out, you kind of know, okay, this is a belt promotion. So sometimes it's a surprise, sometimes it's not. Sometimes he'll just call, maybe sometimes it's like one person is due for their belt or for a certain color, and we'll all line up. He calls that person out, and the gauntlet is just one guy at a time, jump on him for 1 minute. That guy is gonna sit on your ass, and we're gonna come and we're gonna take it to you for 1 minute. And the coach is like, hey, let him work, but beat him up, but let him work. Like, it's not about you submitting him. It's make him work, and then it could go for like maybe 10 people. So like when I got my black belt, it was like he called out. There was 4 of us, I think, that were getting our black belt that day. So he called us all out. We all looked at each other like, oh shit, this is happening. At that point, that point we knew. And then it was just like, everybody's lined up, and anybody could jump in, just the first guy to jump in and go, and then just start rolling with the guy. And that was our version. And I mean, at the end, it's like 1 full minute. Sometimes it'd be like, okay, switch. Maybe it's 30 seconds, maybe it's 1 minute, and it's fresh guy. You might go a couple of times with somebody. You can mix it up. I could go with this guy over here, and then if I'm on the wall, I can go with this guy. That's a version of our gauntlet. And then you're like, you're fucking getting ripped apart.
We call that
So-
Shark Tank. And
Okay.
yeah, the pace in those, because it's just 1 minute. The guy's only going to be there for 1 minute and he's fresh.
Yeah.
So just the pace gets turned up, and then your adrenaline gets turned up, and then you're just
Yeah.
winded before you even you're like, I didn't even move that much,
Yeah.
but why am I tired?
Yeah. I didn't think about that before. That's kind of like our version of the Gauntlet. I guess, like you say, Shark Tank. That's like, you're going to do that, then line up, and then you're probably, that's, you're going to get your promotion at the end of that.
Mhm.
So, class is over, everybody line up, and then he'll call you up. So that's how I got it. So that I do like that. I like the perform. Like, don't whip me. This is jiu-jitsu. Like, let's fight. So, you mentioned something before about Muay Thai. I'm sure, like, I saw a story. I'm always on Instagram, so I saw an Instagram post, like, whatever, like the Muay Thai Federation has gotten together and they're going to do belts now. Did you know that?
No.
I know they have the sashes, so it's like their version of the belts. Like, they're actually introducing. If I'm not mistaken, somebody could Google. Tell me if I'm wrong. Comment if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure, like, there was like the head of like some Muay Thai organization, like, I guess, like almost the equivalent of, let's call it like the IBJJF, is like saying, like, we're going to be doing belts now, and like, I really think, like, citing like the benefits of like having that goal and showing like performance. Again, I know they have the sashes, but I know for jiu-jitsu, I think it's, this, like, not everybody likes stripes. My coach doesn't always do stripes, but I think it's a good, not gauge of performance, but I feel like it's a good motivator for students. I mean, we've all seen, like, you get the stripe and then there's the picture online at night. Like, there's pride in that. I mean, I've seen people cry for just a stripe at like white or blue or, right. I think it's a great way to, it's almost like getting a report card. Like, how am I doing? Tell me how I'm doing. And either I'm going to have a good report card or I'm going to get a shitty report card. Right. So I think, like, that is like a gauge of, like, I've passed, and like, especially for the kids, like, the kids need a motivator. There's so many, like, belts at kids is like, I don't even know them all, gray stripes and yellow belts with this stripe and orange. I think it's good to keep people motivated. It's like anything, or it's a reward system, right? It's like, hit the bell, give me a piece of cheese, right? Like a little, the mouse, right? It's a good reward system. I don't know. What do you think about that?
No, I do agree. And especially if something that takes, 10 years to get a black belt in, you need those little, just like, motivators to keep you going and to show that, you're progressing and you're accomplishing something. And I think, like, it's good for others in the gym to see, like, the hierarchy of not only, like, different belt colors, just to be like, oh, it can, like, that guy has a brown belt, or this girl has a purple belt. She can help me out if I have a question about this certain position, if I'm just a white belt. So it's also, like, good indicators for the community to help each other out. And I think, like, especially in judo, like, in traditional Japanese judo, there's only white, brown, black. But in America, we've actually kind of added a belt in between white and brown. It's usually like a blue belt or a green belt. It's kind of just like up to the school, whatever color they want. But it is like that belt to say, hey, you're not a brown belt yet, but you are doing really good. And it's kind of like, that motivator. So I do believe that it does good.
Yeah. So when you, let's go back to talking about your doctorate. I had a question about that. I mean, because, like, you're talking about, speaking to these people who are at high levels, running businesses, but I mean, you yourself, I mean, you're that guy, right? If I was doing mine, I'd want to talk to you, right? Like, I'd be like, let me talk to Yoshi and talk about, social media, and, you're a black belt in judo as well, correct? Right? You have a black belt in judo, right? And jiu-jitsu. I mean, you're that guy, right? You're that guy that, like, I want to talk to you. That's why I like having you. I want to talk to somebody who has been doing it longer than me, and I can get some insights and take, like, one thing away every time I talk to you, or a couple of things away. I mean, right, you're that guy. You're at that level. I mean, you may not run a business, but I mean, you're freaking going for your doctorate, right? I mean, you've taken this thing pretty far.
Yeah. I think that, like, well, when I did my master's research, I did my master's research just on athletes. What do people gain? Not like extrinsically, they gain these different attributes from training. What are they? So I just want to do, like, research on my master's just about athletes. I did college students, college competitor, judo athletes. What does participation in the sport give you? Outside of just being good at the sport, like, what does it give you in terms of leadership, community building, things like that? So I was looking at, like, what is, like, focusing on the athlete. At this point, I'm kind of going from, like, the top down, like, what is leadership? How does leadership benefit from athletes? So instead of, like, the goal being directed at athletes, it's kind of like the goal is directed at leadership, and the population that I'm sampling is just athletes talking about leadership. So definitely having that experience is, I mean, both aspects, like experience in martial arts and experience in leadership, is going to be really important for at least my doctoral research. Like I have a lot of research a lot of experience in martial arts, but I don't have that much experience in leadership. I've only been in a managerial setting in my professional career for only about like 4 or 5 years. So in terms of leadership, I'm still what, purple belt?
Yeah, you think? How old are you now?
Yeah, somewhere around there. So like you're a good person I'd want to talk to. You're a black belt in jiu-jitsu and you're a black belt in marketing. So, see, I need that double black belt energy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Listen, it's I learn something every day, and like we say, right, in jiu-jitsu, the whole like you don't lose, you learn. Mm-hmm. I had a marketing company. I don't want to say that it failed. I hate to say that it failed. But I had a marketing company for 8 years, and I wound up getting like a really big chargeback, like a $10,000 chargeback on a project, and it like drained my bank account. I mean, it was like I was working for, it was a decently sized marketing company. I had started it from home. I had 7, 8 employees, and then I get this big fucking chargeback, man, and it killed me. And I wound up, like that happened the week after that happened, I was working for somebody else, but I was able to take my book of business with me. So I kind of had like a little bit of a jump start when I went to work for this company. But, again, that whole like live and, don't lose, you learn.
Yeah.
That was the best thing that ever happened to me in the business world, because I was running a marketing company and doing, like basically selling like one-off products, like build a website, see you next year, see you when you need something, do a logo, do their business cards. Maybe they call me back when they have a new employee and need the business cards. So I'm doing that, and we were doing okay, but you're struggling, it's a struggle every day. So I get mauled by that chargeback. I wind up going to work for this other company. And the second I walked into that company and I sat down at a desk and they were like, this is what we sell and how we sell it. It was still marketing. And I went in there and I was like, they were like, still sell your stuff, sell the stuff sell your website, sell your printing, keep your clients going. But look, this is the product that we sell, which was actually like a subscription. I hate to say subscription, but like a subscription model. Like you pay your Netflix bill every month. Well, you pay us every month for the marketing that we're doing for you. So, I was like, oh, so you have people pay, like you have them on a program and they pay you every month. You're doing, it's not like if they don't use you, they've lost that month. It's no, you're doing this set group of things for them every month, and they make sure that that bill is paid, like they pay their phone bill, they pay their car insurance, their business insurance, whatever it may be. The second, I'm like not even exaggerating. The second I sat down at a desk and they were like, "This is what we sell and how we sell it," I was just like, "This is what I was fucking doing wrong." I sell you a $2,500 website, but then you're gone and off doing your marketing with somebody else. And I had a couple of clients that I would do their Google ads for, and we did some SEO for. But it never clicked, like, launch these programs. Like, what are you doing? Like, and I went in there, they gave me like the paperwork and the file, like they gave me, and I'm like, this is what I was fucking doing wrong. So that's what I do. I have a company, I sell subscription-based products where you're paying me every month. You're not going to lose if you don't ask me for something, because we're doing a set group of things, whether it's SEO, Google ads, local SEO, like helping your academy. Like, it's black belt digital marketing, but I have dentists, doctors, attorneys, like it's across the spectrum. Black belt is not, because we're MMA specific or anything like that. It was just, I thought it was a clever name, and I knew I'd have my black belt one day, So, immediately I was just like, oh. So I was there for 6 years. It's not like I went in and then I left. I was there for 6 years, became a manager. Post-COVID, I was just like, okay. They have to be like, can you just go back to just being a salesperson? Like, we're in a remote environment. We need more salespeople. Like, I didn't have the staff to manage the same way it was before. And I was just like, okay. And immediately started planning my exit. I was just like, I'm not just a salesman. Like, I want to build a business. I like managing and talking and solving problems, not just like, hey, you want to buy this thing, right? I found a whole new model to do it. I don't do any cold calling. Everything is referrals. Stuff comes from the podcast. So I figured it out, but if it wasn't for that failure that I almost had me into I have to close my company because $10,000 just got taken out of my bank account's upside down. I can't pay anybody. What the fuck? And that was the best thing that ever happened to me, because now I employ myself, my daughter, her half sister, and have other employees and contractors that do stuff. But Like I just had a conversation with my daughter. I'm like, I sent her a message. I said, I thank you so much. I can't imagine doing this without you. Like she is such an integral part of it. Like my 30-year-old daughter is now, basically running my company with me. And then now we hired her half sister and she thanked me. She's like, thank you for giving me a job. And me and my sister, like, I don't know what I'd be doing. She was a teacher. She went to school to be a teacher, hated it. So now I employ my 30-year-old daughter and her 21-year-old sister, and they're just appreciative of it. They work remotely, so they're working from home, right? But if it wasn't for that huge failure, I would not be this, successful. It's always a challenge, but the successful digital marketing agency, helping out companies all over the country, and now doing it the right way. Like, yeah, that's like billing goes off every day. Like, every day somebody's anniversary, their 1 month anniversary, right, is coming through. That's what I did wrong. But again, going back, as it relates to jiu-jitsu, like we say that a lot, and it's easier said than done. Like, I lost, and you really do learn. I like talking about carrying over that to the business side. I learned that, and it was easier for me to recognize, like, later to be like, okay, that failure like taught me. So if it wasn't for that failure, this wouldn't happen. I might have kept on running that company. Maybe it would have been big. I don't know. Could I have made it work? But me discovering this model and going, this is how you do this. Help out clients, but make yourself money. So anyway, so that's what happened to me. But one of the biggest failures in my life, turned into the next chapter. And, knock on wood, hopefully this is, I hope this is a very long chapter and the last one, and a good ending to a good career in marketing. I'm sure there'll be more, but that's kind of the story behind how I got here. But the podcast is completely separate. So, the podcast happened. I just, was doing it while I was working for this other company just for me. And then it turned into like an arm of the company, and now we get, we're the, we're like a sponsor, right? So we get business from people that, I get jiu-jitsu people that own businesses that are like, hey man, I'd love to give my business to a jiu-jitsu guy. I had a dentist that we were working with, like in California, so like it happened. So like, it's like, holy shit, this would have never happened if that big failure didn't happen. So same thing with jiu-jitsu, right? I mean, it's hard in the moment, you don't see it. Like I told you at the beginning before we got on, like I had like the worst week, shit happening. It's just like, but one foot in front of the other. I believe if you're a good person, if you really have a good heart, those bad things, you're not going to see it right in the moment, but those bad things are, you're going to be you're going to go, oh wow, I'm here. If that didn't happen, I wouldn't be in this good place. Right. So
100%.
But if you're an asshole, good for you. You failed. Go away. You're going to attract that negativity and bad shit, right? So, so anyway,
those moments are beautiful though. Yeah, like those moments that like teach you when you like, even in those losses, like it sucks to lose. And I hope everybody out there, everyone listening, I hope you take more wins than losing. But it's just life. We're gonna lose. And like in terms of like even related to competition, I don't remember half the people I beat in the tournaments that I've won, but I remember a lot of the people that I've lost to, and those teach you how to be better. And you really dial in on like, what can I do differently? What went well? What didn't go well? What should I do differently? Is you really like analyze that in those moments of loss. So moments are beautiful.
Yeah, man. Like I said, man, if it wasn't, I could point back to, look, I was a dad at 19. In that moment, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to be a dad. And I never looked at that as a negative, let me say that. But a lot of people be like, oh my fucking God, what am I gonna do? And I was like, I embraced it. It was like the best thing that ever happened. Again, my daughter works for my company now. She's like just the most important thing in my life. And again, in the moment, we look at these things and we go like, oh God, what, back then I didn't think like this, but the whole, like, just one foot in front of the other, man. You're going to get through this. If it literally doesn't kill you, like that whole what doesn't kill you make you stronger. I do really believe in that. And again, sometimes you may not see it, but if you're a good person, there's going to be like, this is going to teach you a good lesson, and you're going to be stronger for this in the future. And if it happens again, like, how to deal with it. Like I said, I had a really bad week, and I was able to kind of dig into that and go, one foot in front of the other, you're going to get through this. Don't worry, even with the small things like today, like having the delay, I could have been a fucking, an asshole and been all fucking pissed off. And I'm just like, all right, I'll get some work done while I'm here. I got a bunch of things done that I didn't, I didn't have my outline done yet for the podcast. I was like, all right, I got a few minutes to do the outline for the podcast. I'll wait, so I'm always like glass half full. But not everybody's like that. But hey, listen, let me get into a couple listener questions. We had a couple of funny ones. I'll let you read online, and I'm not going to ask them on air. Like about oil checks.
Yeah, I saw them. Go ahead and ask.
you want me to ask them? I'll ask them.
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
Let me. I'll go into those. Let me ask the crazy ones first, because I don't. I'm like I don't want to.
I know the one you're talking about.
I don't like to offend anybody and make anything but I mean it's just funny that people even ask this stuff. So hold on one second. I'm bringing up Instagram real quick. So the first one. Let me see. There was okay. So the first one was, why are you so handsome? That was from Pocketful of Puppies _ Pocketful of Puppies on Instagram. I'm assuming that you might know this young lady. Do you know who that is?
Met a few times.
Bird Lady.
Yeah, she lives in Hawaii. We've hung out a few times in the city. She come by Half Gracie like a few times.
Yeah, I got to give her a follow now that you know her. Then the second one, that wasn't an offensive one, but I wasn't gonna ask that one. Hey, why are you so handsome? This one was how would you say this? Judoted? Is that it? It says judo and then TE. Judo Ted. I did judoted. Judo Ted. This is Judo Ted. He said, hold on one second. I've got it off screen. He said, when is it a good time to check the oil?
Oh God.
Does that happen more? Does it just happen more in judo or something because of all the kind of grabbing?
Nah, not even. That's like a wrestling thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So like to get scientific with it. Checking the oil, like if you're putting like fingers near or like holes, then never. But like, sometimes you gotta grab a butt cheek just to hold on.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like you kind of like. I think like sometimes people try to get like that. The pelt was, what is it, like the coccyx, right? Like you can literally like you're gonna lose, and they go to grab the butt, and then the unintentional oil check happens, which is crazy. We've all seen the wrestling or the judo videos, right?
Yeah. There was like a high school wrestling video I saw recently where a dude just like super checked the oil, and then the guy freaked out and he pinned him because he jumped up. It was pretty funny, but it's kind of fucked up at the same time.
This is the other one that I wasn't going to ask. So I don't even know how to say it. Drunk. What does it say? There's just a whole bunch of letters and numbers. Drunk 3 NPH 15H. That might spell something and I don't realize it. This may be somebody that you know. He said, hold on, I keep on when I go to their page. It says, how scary is it to roll with a strong gay BJJ fighter? And what are your thoughts about it? Do you know this guy? Do you know who that is?
Okay, yeah. So Jurgens, he's from South Africa. He trained at Gracie Baja with Romulo Bahal and Orlando Sanchez. He's a black belt under Orlando Sanchez. RIP. Actually, me and Orlando competed back in the day.
Oh, Orlando, Orlando. Okay,
amazing athlete. Anyway, Jurgens is a black belt under them, but he's a gay black belt.
Oh, is he? Oh, he is gay.
He's not like flamboyantly gay. He actually doesn't like the flamboyant shit. He is gay, but no one would notice it. Like he's wearing like Echo Unlimited shirts and baggy sweatpants. Like no one would really know it's.
Oh, that's totally gay.
Okay? No. Like, he'll walk up to you at class. He's like, you know what's gayer than having a guy on your back like with hooks in? Having a gay black belt on your back with hooks in. And, like he'll say that shit. Like, he's like choking you, and it's just like it's just funny as hell. But he's an animal, dude. He will tear your foot off and take it home with him. Like
really,
he is a monster when it comes to submissions. And I think it's just being in the same room as Romulo Bahal and Orlando Sanchez. Like a lot of like every week growing up, it's just like he's a super high level jiu-jitsu guy, but he's also a super high level gay guy.
I've never heard of anybody called a high level gay guy.
Nah, but he's amazing. Super funny guy. Amazing. Like, but yeah, he's tough as hell, bro. Even though he's like, he's a gay jiu-jitsu black belt, that motherfucker is tough as hell.
That's funny. I'm glad that we
he's tapped me out probably, I want to say 80 to 150 times probably. He's tapped me out and I've only gotten him once.
Really? Wow. my first coach, he used to have this joke, like if he had your back, and he was sinking in a choke, he'd whisper in your ear, "I like your panties."
Oh God. Fuck that.
Yeah, I probably haven't used that in a long time, but I did used to. I kind of carried over the tradition when I went to my new school, but I kind of haven't said that in a long time. But
That's horrifying.
Yeah, I mean, it's freaking 265-pound, fucking 5'8", freaking looks like a freaking gorilla on your back, and then he's whispering in your ear. It's why, like, I definitely had a lot of. I still. Like I'm a talker I'm a talker all the time. I don't shut up, but I talk during my roles. I could be getting killed. I could be killing. It doesn't matter. I'm talking. I think a little bit of it is just like, I like to joke around and I do like to have fun with jiu-jitsu. And then I guess there's like this little part of sometimes, especially if somebody's getting the better of me, I've got their mind listening to me now. So like their mind is not completely working on the jiu-jitsu. Part of their mind is listening to me and registering this. So I feel like I might be throwing them off a little bit, right? Like like somebody who talks a little smack during a fight, right? Or something like that. Like, when you see a boxing match and the guy's trying to get in your head. Like, I think a little bit of it is like that. I don't know that it was always super conscious for me of doing it, but I'd be like, oh shit, oh, bit, you almost got me. Oh, bit, oh, you're not gonna get, not today. Like you're really holding off on a choke. And I feel like I get in their head a little bit. So I like to be playful with it. And it's been a long, like, even when I'm like really getting into like a battle with somebody, or maybe, there's, I don't want to say a little bit of bad blood, but maybe I got the better of you and now you're rolling a little harder. And now I'm like, oh shit, you're rolling hard and you're pissed, I still I want to diffuse it and I want to make it fun.
Yeah.
If at very least for me, I never want to leave jiu-jitsu pissed off. Right?
Yeah.
This is my happy place. So I never want to leave and be like, I'm more angry than when I showed up, or I was happy when I got there. Now I'm angry. There's certainly those times I've driven all the way home with like the radios off and I didn't even realize it. And you're like, what am I doing? I'm fucking 50 years old. Fucking 25-year-old kids are fucking trying to choke me out. That certainly happens, I think there's a meme about that. Like when you get home and you realize like, you haven't turned the radio, like it's been silent the whole drive home. And I've literally had those almost like, man, you're just thinking life, jiu-jitsu, what am I doing? I was the nail today,
Oh, for
but
sure.
I even those moments, I still love jiu-jitsu in those moments when I get, if you can get, I think when you're like a lower belt, if you can get past those moments, do you agree with this? When you can get past those moments at white and blue, then you get through blue, and you've gotten your ass kicked, like you're good. This is it. Like I think I've heard like purple is like, but Joe Rogan says it maybe like a purple belt. He's pretty much a black belt. Like you just got to wait for the belt. Like you just got to put in your time. But like a purple belt who's been beat up, it's like now you're gonna be beating up the white belts. Like agree or disagree, right? Like you get past a point.
Purple belt, you could probably kill about 90% of the world.
Yeah, yeah, right. I'd be interested if like have you I'm not trying to change your thesis by any means, but have you spoken to like police officers or like, anybody in the law enforcement community about like kind of leadership and this kind of stuff?
Not directly. I haven't even started my interviews. Before I do that, I got to get like approval. Like you need a whole approval to study on human subjects type of thing. Okay. So I haven't even got to that part. Just like off the record talks about it for sure.
Yeah.
But nothing like actual research yet.
Yeah. I've had some interesting guys come on, especially on the law enforcement side. I was trying to get, I'm not going to mention his name yet, but spoke to somebody he's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu and running for sheriff in Miami-Dade. I spoke to him this past week, and I was put together with him by somebody else in law enforcement. And we're trying to get him in. It's just, he's literally in campaign mode. So we might have to do it, like, even though he's in Florida, we might have to do it via Zoom. So I was like really trying, like, can you get up here? It's, but it takes a big part of his day out, and he's like literally like campaigning. So, but I thought that's an interesting one. But yeah, I definitely think like that law enforcement side, I don't, again, I'm not trying to change your thesis by any means, but I think those are interesting guys to talk to, guys who have, been through it, retired. Oh, for sure. You went to, is New Wave still in the Gracie Austin?
Yeah,
Gracie Austin. Yeah. Are they still in that gym?
So John and the new wave guys, they do teach some classes at Henzo Gracie Austin, but
Okay.
the majority of new wave is done at Roca, which is a private training center.
Okay.
Invite only. John picks who trains and doesn't train theirs. I'm a gi guy, so like there's no way I was gonna get in that room. But
Okay.
I did train with the new wave guys. They do like a couple classes a week at Henzo Gracie Austin.
Okay.
Gary Tonin was teaching the week I was there. John was out and teaching some instructional for BJJ Fanatics.
Okay.
So I only got to take one class with him, but most of the classes was with Gary Tonin, which were amazing.
Yeah, that was. Is he real? Oh, Gary's teaching most of those classes.
When I went, but
Yeah.
that was like what, last year? About a year ago?
Yeah, I think you mentioned who did you who's a judoka and you rolled with
trained with Heisem.
Heisem, right? Heisem Rita.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You had a good story about rolling with him and you guys, did he toss
super
you
happy
did he toss you around or did you toss each other around?
So dude, we rolled at the last round of open mats, like 10th Planet open mat, huge mat space. Texas, they just got this big ass warehouse, mats, huge mat space. And then the B team guys showed up. So you had the Rodriguez brothers, you had Nicky Ryan wasn't there, but you had Heisem, you had a bunch of the guys from B team show up, and the mat, dude, it's like a slip and slide. Those mats were fucking drenched.
Soaking wet, right?
And so we're both working out. It's the last round of like pretty much the open mat. No one else is really rolling. And we both go for a foot sweep and we both sweep each other. And it was just like, we're just like on the floor on our asses, just kind of laughing because it was just so slippery that we tried to sweep and we just couldn't stand it because it was just too slippery.
There's a guy over and what I was looking for it. I'm so horrible with remembering names, especially if they've only been on the podcast. So that's and like I'll always remember the Instagram handle. So I know they call him Zen Gorilla. I don't know how to say his name. It's Jason Repsch, Rebsch. I don't know if he's an owner of Gracie. I'm not sure if he might be an owner over there.
Oh yeah. This guy owns Henzo Gracie Austin.
Zen Gorilla, right? Yeah, right. Yeah. So we had him on the show, and he's former law enforcement. So like I don't know what your relationship was like. I know that you went out there. I mean, you visited gyms all the time, but he would be a really great person. I think he did 20 plus years on the job. Owns a jiu-jitsu academy. Is now like he has another company where he does jiu-jitsu for law enforcement. I don't remember the name, but he's got like I think a brand for that, the jiu-jitsu, and then there's like I think another brand that he works with. So I don't want to go too far into it because I'd have to look it up. But I know you went out there, so I didn't know if you go out there.
Yeah, I talked with him. He was definitely like at the gym when I was there. Got to talk to him a bunch. He's really good at gun jitsu. He does those instructional videos with guns.
Gun retention, right? Like how to
guns.
Yeah,
that's just incredible. It's so amazing to watch.
Yeah.
It's just like, I know grappling and doing jiu-jitsu and doing judo, but it's like you had a weapon in there. It's just like it totally changes what you can do and what you can't do.
Yeah. I like that. I went to the guy that hooked me up with this guy, the guy that's running for sheriff down here in Miami-Dade, Brennan Oliveira, De Oliveira. It's the first time I went to a law enforcement seminar, and it was so eye-opening because it was just like, okay, the moves that I knew, especially like Kimura's, like to get like to the handcuffing position, right? It was just like, oh, I'm always here. Oh, all I have to do is go here. Oh, look that. Now I've got the guy's arm trapped and I'm handcuffing him. He's on his stomach and I've got him and I'm sitting on his back and I'm handcuffing him. So it's like very eye-opening. It's just like, it's one of those, just like, duh, look at it, it's right there. But you got to be taught these things. Now you see it. Okay, now I understand it. But it was like very eye-opening. I had talked so much about jiu-jitsu for law enforcement, but I had never been to a seminar. And to go to that seminar was like really, really super eye-opening with just like gun retention, like holding your gun and like, they're going for your gun. What do you do? They go or like start with their hand on your gun. Now what do you do? And just like the movements and the wrist locks and the different things. It was just it was super eye opening. It was just like amazing. Again, I've really done for the most of my jiu-jitsu career. It's really been sport jiu-jitsu, really more than anything. Not even like the self-defense, like the traditional like grab me here or grab the leg underneath and pull them, like it's super sport jiu-jitsu. So to see that and to be like part of that was really fun. It was like a total 3 hours of a seminar. That was amazing. It was like truly eye-opening. So love to do more of that stuff too. But You
I
know,
would like to see at least more cops doing jiu-jitsu, or even just like, in Japan, all cops do judo. There's like dojos in every, cop station in Japan. In San Francisco, there's a firefighting club, jiu-jitsu club, that they go to different dojos. They travel to different dojos. They meet about once a month, and they have a firefighter session. So it'd be cool to see like the cops getting behind that, because I think like
yeah,
most cops should know, basic jiu-jitsu. That'd be
man. When
probably
I see like a
all parties.
cop, when I see like a cop that's just like out of shape, out of breath in a fight, like it's just like, really? Yeah, the whole thing. Like my dad was a cop, and he was a NYPD transit police officer. But so before the NYPD became one department, there used to be NYPD and NYTPD, New York City, the transit police, right? So there's to this day, from my understanding, there's no continuing physical education program, right? So like you have to certify, like you have to, you certify for your weapon every year, but you don't have to certify for anything else physical. And again, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I know when my father was on, it was never a thing. He never had to like run or do any kind of like jumping jack after the academy. Like there's no physical education, ongoing continuing education or physical education requirement, which is the case for most departments. And that's the problem. And then, when I spoke to this guy, the sheriff, that's the guy that's running for sheriff down here, he actually said, goes, our problem in Florida is that you have to, so in the police academy, there are requirements that come down from the state. So the stuff that they require us to teach, when you know jiu-jitsu, you're like, that is ridiculous. I wouldn't do that. Why would I do that? I would do this. So he says a lot of the instructors are now judo players, or they're ranked in jiu-jitsu because now jiu-jitsu has become a part of like law enforcement. But it's still the state has their requirements, but there's no jiu-jitsu requirement yet. But those instructors, they have to teach, even if it's wrong, they have to teach what's required. Yeah. But then they can add, right? So they can add in like, but hey, look, I would do it like this. I have to teach you this, but then I'm going to, and they don't necessarily say it like that, but right? Yeah. Then after you get out of the police, out of the academy, and you get certified, right? In Florida, you have to get like a certification. And once you get certified out of the academy, right, you go to your precinct or your department. You can get certified as like get the certificate and get certified, and then go interview at different departments and then get your job. Or you can go to like the city of Davie and then go get hired, and then they send you to the police academy. It can happen either way. So you can go to on an interview and say, I'm certified. You can put me on. Sometimes they'll make you go through the academy again, but you're already certified, so it's a plus, right? So, so he says, once you get out of the academy and you go to your department, then that's where we can train jiu-jitsu and we can teach each other jiu-jitsu, right? There might be there might be some departments do have some type of physical education or like combatives that you have to do annually. It's usually just a couple of hours, which is ridiculous. But that's when the state isn't necessarily involved with the curriculum, and then that's where like jiu-jitsu instructors can teach jiu-jitsu. So that's kind of how it's like creeped in. Again, state requires this, you can do, but I'll add the secret. I'll add the little little secret sauce, right? Sauce. And then long term you can, right? So that's the first time somebody said it to me like that. Like I didn't understand that. I get the curriculum. He's like, yeah, but I have to teach what they tell me, but then I can add a little. There's nothing that says I can't improve upon that, for sure. Right? So that's still a problem where I think it's going to take some time for these guys that are jiu-jitsu brown belts, black belts, instructors to continue to move up in the ranks, maybe, into politics, right? That's a lot of times what happens. And then, listen, I'm a judo player, I'm a jiu-jitsu player. Like, this has to be part of the curriculum, and then be pushing it from that side. Because right now it's just people that just don't know, right? The people that are making the decisions just don't know what we're missing. And like in New York, like you can't do chokes. You can't put like a knee on the chest or sit on their back. Like there's like, again, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like that ridiculous. Like you couldn't put a knee on like somebody's back. Yeah. Really? Like you can't sit on them. Really? I can't sit on their chest. Like, I'm gonna cry. Like
maybe not for like 12 minutes, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I think there's been problems in history where it's like, it's gone a little too far.
Yeah, like 9. Well, it was 9 minutes that they had their knee on this guy's neck, right? Yeah. So we did an episode after that way back in the beginning. And I was like, neon. The title of the episode was "Neon Neck Done Correctly," because I was like, I do knee on neck all of the time. I've never killed anybody, right? Yeah. And then I've said like, if I don't like you, I'm putting the knee on the neck. If I like you, I'm probably going to put it on your here on the chin line, right? So that I'm on the bone. I'm holding you down, but I'm not putting the pressure. I'm not looking for necessarily the submission, the choke submission. I'm looking for more of like just the, what is it? Like pain equals compliance, right? I got a shirt from a ATT guy from Palm Beach Gardens, Ben Stark, and it says on the front, pain it said kind of pain equals compliance all the way down the shirt. But I mean, that's the case, right? It's like I can put it on your face and you're going to tap because like, wow, this is uncomfortable. Or I can put it on your neck and you're going to either tap, and if you don't, you're going to go out, right? So like, again, we did that episode way back like in year 1. We're going on 5 years. On year 1, we did that. And I was just like, I've never killed anybody, doing a knee on neck. And this is, it was not tongue in cheek, but like we were being, facetious is the word, right? Yeah. We were like, if I did it for 9 minutes, yes, I'm going to kill you. But if I do it, get you to comply, give me your arm. If I know what to do and make you comply after that, then, we don't have these problems. But I guess just like, people don't realize that they hear even like on Google, right? They scan if you do ads and right, they scan the podcast, YouTube and Google, right? Google, owned by YouTube, right? But, or YouTube owned by Google. They scan the episode and they hear those words. So like we've said things like murder, choke, I was killing him, right? And that sometimes those episodes get flagged, especially when it happens in the beginning of the episode. Yeah, we're not advocating those things. We just happen to be like words that we say in the jiu-jitsu community. Like we don't, we're not literally murdering. Oh, I killed that guy, man. That was fucking great. Murdered him. Yeah. Right. So I used to tell people, like nothing crazy in the first 15 minutes of the episode, because I don't think it's not always like the full episode. It's like the first 15 minutes, I think Google maybe scans. So like, you
also we're all good right now. We can just let it fly right now. We're deep in it.
Shit, fuck, motherfucker. Like you can say whatever you want, right? But yeah, so like that. Go ahead.
I was just thinking about this like the other day, like the choke where someone just grabs you like this and chokes you. It starts with the R that we call it in our community. Probably can't say that on the YouTubes, right? Because like you probably get flagged for something, but it's like, when are we gonna rename that choke?
What are you talking? What do you say? What is it? What are you saying? Like when you
the rape choke? Oh,
do they call it the rape choke? Oh, you know what? I don't know that I probably heard that. I didn't stick out to me as that. I thought that's where you were going though.
Yeah, and it's like that's a fucked up name for a choke.
Yeah, like right.
We should probably as a community work on fixing that name. Like, do people still call undershirts wife beaters? Is that a thing still?
Yeah,
I don't even know if fucking Gen Z even wears.
It's probably like my generation. Like even I guess I'm 50. Like after my generation, it was really. I guess we called it wife beaters. Yeah, my gen called it wife beaters. Yours? How old are you again? I forget. I'm
33.
You're 33. Okay, you're still a baby. My daughter's gonna be 31. So yeah, man. I guess they do. It's fun, Christian, do they call it white? Christian's a young buck. Do they still call it wife beaters when you wear like a white tank top?
Yeah, that's still
a thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. He's taking off his shirt right now. He's got a tank top on.
I'm Italian. So.
Yeah, man. I love this. With all the bullshit, I love this world. I love talking about this world. It's like, this is like the most fun I have all week. Like all the hard work, aside from doing jiu-jitsu, getting to talk about it and to get paid to talk about it is like an amazing feeling, With that said too, I got like what's going like I know you do your stuff, you do your move of the day, right? If anybody doesn't realize by now, you're the move of the day, right? Like, it's I know in my world it's a thing. Like my friends, we see it, we send it to each other. Like, hey, check this out. Where like has it changed anybody? Like I'm a business guy, so I always ask about like, hey, have you monetized this? How's it working for you? Are you doing anything with this? Like, is this going to be part of the Yoshi? Is there a Yoshi brand? Like where do you want to go with this? Is it just fun and it's always going to be fun and that's it, or like is this a business?
So it's just fun. I'm just trying to have fun with it. I was getting paid through Instagram. They had like a creators program. Yeah. They actually, with all tech, there's like they're laying off people. There's budget problems in all tech. So they canceled that program. So no, like not really that. I do want to get into YouTube a little more, maybe some like long form content. All my content's under a minute, so it's pretty like short term. But yeah, I'm just trying to keep it fun. The main goal for this whole thing was just to have fun, show people, my take on jiu-jitsu and judo. Especially because like, judo's kind of like a dying sport in the US. And so like for me to give to the jiu-jitsu community, like as much judo as I can is kind of the goal. But again, it's all for fun. Maybe one day, I'll open up an academy or something. That'll be like where the monetary value comes in for me. But for now, I'm just trying to have fun. And
so if a sponsor came to you, I know that you're a big show your roll guy, right? Still, you not necessarily
Team show your roll.
They send you stuff, right? Oh, there you go. Wait, do it again. Show again because you were off screen.
Team show your roll.
Show your roll. Oh, look at that. Do they have just regular like apparel? They have like regular like streetwear.
Yep.
Which I think I've got it. Yeah, man, that's awesome. I didn't even know that they did that. So they send you stuff, right?
Yeah.
If forget about just apparel, you're working with them. But like if a company said, hey, listen, we want you to try our product and we'd be interested in working with you, maybe give you a couple bucks. Is it something that you would do?
Yeah. I've been in talks with a few companies. We've actually shared some Leo Optics, code word Yoshi at checkout.
There you go.
But or BJJ dummies. I don't know what your code word is.
We do JJD. Oh, we'll leave it for you. You got to take it. You take it around with it. That's fine.
And but yeah, I'm just trying to keep it like, again, super playful, super fun. I only have a minute when I do my content. It's like literally a minute, and I barely have time to get all the things in the technique. It's kind of like, it's not detailed. It's like super macro level jiu-jitsu and judo. It's like big picture. I only have a minute to convey what I want to convey. And sometimes one technique could take you 7 minutes to talk about all the points you want to talk about it. So like, even to say, move of the day brought to you by blah, blah, blah. That takes away some of my time. So I've kind of like not been searching out super hard for it, but if it comes my way, I'm definitely open to conversations about it.
So let me, I'm just putting on my marketing hat right now real quick. And I'd love to send you what I use. And if you, for free, I'm like, this is just want to help you. If you wanted to help, I'll send you like what I call my press kit. It's just 2 graphics. And because so much of what we do happens on Instagram, most of the time a sponsor comes to us, they say, hey, we're interested in working with you. What does it cost? What do you think? I send them the 2 sheets. One has information about the podcast, and then one has 3 packages. And these are our costs, and this is what it costs monthly to work with us. But I'd love to send you that.
Yeah.
And if you're not using something like that, you don't need the 2. I started out with 1, but then we got like, we were in the newspaper, and then we had like our numbers were increasing. So take a look at it. And I would absolutely, again, for free, I'm not trying to sell you anything. Literally love to do it for you. I actually offered this to another guest because I'm like, if I can help you guys make more money, and it literally doesn't cost me anything to have my designer work on something for you, I'm going to send you I'm going to text it to you. Look at it. And if you want us to create something, I'll just put you in touch with my daughter. She manages the graphic design team. I'll tell her like, get him what he needs and just do like a nice graphic. We've got like, almost what we did for you, but think about putting like some packages on it, or at least information on like, it's better to come up with like some packages and say, this is what it would cost to do this. I would, at this dollar amount, I would do this many videos. And like, don't worry about like, you don't necessarily have to shout them out, but if you put it in the caption, or maybe you just put their logo on the corner of the video or something in the background, or again, you're working with show your roll, so it's hard, like if you're doing gi stuff, to like wear somebody else's gi, you don't want to fuck up that relationship. But look, I'm going to send you what I use, and it's what we've used to get every single sponsor. Or if they've asked us, I send this to them, whether it's email, but mostly I did it and I just have them as JPEG saved in my phone. And when somebody on Instagram asks me like, hey, what do you charge? If I don't like their product, I'm not sure if I'm going to like their product, I usually say, do you mind sending us something? But here's our kit. Because maybe they don't want to send it to like, hey, that's just too expensive anyway. So, but I'll still send you some. But we just had some guys send us a bunch of CBD. But like, look, I'll send it to you. Look at it, and if you want us to create something, I'm telling you, no worries. Just tell us exactly what you want. We'll create. You have a little sheet, and you send it out. And the thing is, it's a numbers game. Sometimes somebody asks you for something, and then you like have the conversation, and you don't necessarily have like a number in mind. People want to hear the number, and maybe they go, I could do that. And then all of a sudden, you got a revenue stream. It's how I don't care if you're doing a podcast or you're trying to get sponsors. This is a great model, and Instagram is a great place for us as jiu-jitsu players. It's still like, we've built the podcast around Instagram. Everything else to me is like secondary. It's the Instagram following that like led to everything else. But I'm going to send you these sheets. Let me know if you want us to make it. Just absolutely do not feel. I feel like your personality is like, I don't want to bother them. I don't want to. I'm offering it to you. Let us create a nice little sheet for you. And then, and even if you want to have a conversation with me, like, what do you think this is worth, or like what package prices? You don't have to be greedy. You'll see my numbers on there. We're not being greedy. We do a lot. I offer graphic design to people. We do lots of social media posting. They're on the podcast. Stickers on the thing and stuff in the background, right? So we bring a lot to the table. But I'll send you what I have, and that maybe you have a little sheet. And people, when they ask, you say, "Hey, listen, this is my." I call it a press kit, press kit or sponsorship kit. Here's my sponsorship kit. And, let me know, if you want to do something, reach out and we'll talk some more, so, and then you could take it to the next level. But a lot of times people want to know, gear is great. I'll take it. Gear is great. Supplements are great. Glasses are great. But ultimately we do have to, we've got to pay for this stuff, and, sponsors help us pay for this stuff. And for me, again, not to beat a dead horse, but like we get clients from this now for black belts. So like, I'm less worried about new sponsors. And I'm more like just enjoying working with like Leo Optics and companies that are like just sending us stuff sometimes. Now it's like it takes the bite off of like, now I've got to deliver a service with the podcast. No, now it's not really like that. The relationships that I have been around for years in some cases. And it's just more fun that like, okay, I'm getting business off of it on the marketing side. So now I don't even have to like press myself to get, oh God, I have new sponsors. Like it's not like that anymore, which it was like that in the beginning because it was costly. I paid for everything out of my pocket. I had a good paying gig, and I was doing this on the side as something fun. But anyway, so long story short is I'm gonna send those to you and let us know. We'll make a nice press kit for you, or at least again a one sheeter that just a nice graphic, has some packages on it. It's a conversation starter more than anything, and then also like people that just can't afford it or don't want to do anything or just looking for like kind of use you for like, let me get in front of your listeners, but I'm not really going to give you anything. At least this gives you something to talk about, and you can kind of weed out the people that are, BSing versus the people that are like, I'm really interested in working with you because I like your stuff, which is kind of cool. When somebody approaches me and they're like, hey, what does it cost for this? And, like, sometimes I want to be like, well, what do you like about the podcast? Why do you want to work with us? Like, I want to be like, well, what? Oh, you've never listened, so you're not. So it's just you're looking for exposure. Like it's better when you're working with somebody who's like, oh man, I heard that episode. That was really awesome. I love, we'd love to do something with you. Like that's more fun, and like you're gonna have more drive to deliver to them because they're actually like a fan. So So anyway. Hey, let me.
I would really appreciate that.
I'm going to do that for you. Let me ask these other two questions, and then we'll start to wrap things up. But we had the two serious questions beyond the oil check and the gay guy. A simple one from Submission Summit was, what do you think of judo in the USA?
What do I think of judo in the USA?
Yeah. Kind of basic. I believe it. You know more about judo than me. So like judo organizations. What's the main organization? What's the governing or the IBJJF of judo?
Okay. My two thoughts on it. Judo in the USA is declining because there's like less judo only schools. Like there's not like, take any town, you search up, there's going to be, for every one judo school, there's probably 20 jiu-jitsu schools within a 100-mile radius, right? Okay. It's just like, it's not as popular as jiu-jitsu, which I understand. It's hard on the body. Someone someone that's older, that's never practiced martial arts, is going to have a hard time learning judo at for the first martial art they've ever done in their life at an older age, rather than jiu-jitsu. It's a lot more chill, less impactful on the body. So I understand that part. The weird thing to me that it's different in the US is that although judo is not as popular as jiu-jitsu, I feel like it's much more organized in the US. There's governing bodies right now. IBJJF, great organization. They kind of have a monopoly on everything. There's no United States Jiu-Jitsu Federation.
Gotcha.
There is a USJJF, but it's JU Jiu-Jitsu, like that, like the old school Japanese style Jiu-Jitsu, not like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or like what we consider sport Jiu-Jitsu today. But I will say that I think that they are much more organized. Like there's different regions. Regions have a governing body. That region talks to a bigger region governing body, which talks to the United States regioning body, which then talks to the international regioning governing body. So I feel like even though it's a sport that's declining in numbers, I think that jiu-jitsu needs to step up in the terms of how they value their organization. Because things like, all right, in college, we have the United States Collegiate Judo Association, NCJA. They have yearly tournaments, national black belt nationals, where all the colleges get together and they compete. Jiu-jitsu doesn't have that. jiu-jitsu doesn't have that, like if everything's IBJJF or like some kind of other third party company. I would really like to see maybe a governing body start in the United States that can connect colleges, that could connect different things like judo has done. Just on the organization side.
What country's like the model for that? What country would be the model for that? I mean, Japan?
Yeah, Japan, France. I mean, there's different. I think even the U.S. could be a model for that. Just the way the U.S. is handled.
Like, who's doing it currently? Like, is there anybody doing it? Like what you just described? Is there somebody doing that currently? Is there a country that really has a good handle on like?
I wouldn't say. I don't even know. I don't know. I don't know if there's like a country that has a strong. Maybe Brazil. I'm pretty sure Brazil has a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Association. I'm sure that they have different, tournaments that they help, promote, put into action, get the referees for things like that. I just think that in the U.S. it's just there's a lot of private jiu-jitsu schools, but like there's not like a larger body in the U.S. that can also help promote the sport within the U.S.
Gotcha.
Like I bring it from the college level and then trickling down to even like a high school level.
Gotcha.
That's one thing I would like to see. I would like to see like all the colleges be able to get together to have like a national collegiate jiu-jitsu tournament.
Yeah.
I think that would be a really cool thing to see.
So what is the conversation with somebody who's an older player or even somebody that's just jiu-jitsu? How do you get them to come train judo and not just like, hey, learn a couple of throws, but to actually train? I think more often than not, it's like they've come from jiu-jitsu, from judo to jiu-jitsu. There's not much going back the other way unless somebody's like a high level competitor. Like I need to go to a judo class because I'm competing and I need to know this stuff. How do you get it to go the other way?
So, I mean, a lot of it's all right. We're like in a culture now that we want like instant gratification. And it's just like, it's hard when you can tell a person, hey, you might not spar for a few months.
Okay.
You might just be doing technique and drilling for a few months. But if you just throw them into judo sparring, they might either like just get destroyed or not come back, or they're just going to get beat up or hurt or not come back. So it's like, I feel like, jiu-jitsu, you can spar in like your first week of training. But if you're like an older and like brand new to judo, someone can like move with you and do that. But like legitimate sparring is going to take months to get into.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's just going to take patience and they're going to have to want. It's just about a want thing. Want an opportunity. Like, is there a person in their city that can actually teach that? Like, is there enough people that can teach and convey judo? And on top of that, like I do privates for judo all the time. And a lot of times the guy doesn't want to spar necessarily. He just wants to learn the technique, which is totally fine too. If they want to spar, we can spar. If they don't want to spar, then if it's too much on their body, or if they want to do only crash pad, like I do a lot of judo where it's like they don't even get thrown on the floor or the mats. They get thrown on a crash pad only. So it just makes it less impactful. But then like that takes a lot more equipment to run it like that type of style. But judo is very hard on the body. Why they call jiu-jitsu and judo the gentle way and the gentle art.
Right.
I think it's kind of like calling Iceland, Greenland, Iceland.
For real, right? I mean, I couldn't even imagine like when I do like warm up roll, like Granby rolls or like just rolls. Like we do our warm ups and I'm rolling over my shoulder. I'm like, okay, is my lower back going to be okay after this? Am I going to get through the class? And I've like always, there's like a handful of times where I haven't done warm ups because something's hurting so much and I'm like, that's going to hurt me. Or I'll do as much of the warm-ups as I can, but there's certain things like I just have lower back problems and like just bending in a certain way is just going to fuck up my back and I'm just not going to be able to go through the rest of the class. But like I always was like, even at black, I'm not like standing off to the side because I have my black belt. I want to do that. I want to show even the younger guys, look, I can do this stuff. So it's like very rare that I don't do something, but I couldn't imagine getting thrown on the mat. I could see getting thrown on a crash pad, like, a nice, a thick pad. But I mean, I as a 50-year-old guy, understanding what it could do to my body, I'd be nervous. Again, I would just, show me the throw, but I've never done like a judo match or judo, what'd you call it? Just like a
match.
Just like a match or, roll, like what's the version of rolling? What are we saying? Rolling?
The tournaments is called Shiai.
But what about just like rolling? Like when you're practicing, like we say rolling, you say...
Oh, Randori.
Grandori, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay.
Randori is the word for sparring.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
When
it's
you
not
come
that
to
bad.
Florida,
I mean,
we're gonna
with
have
someone
you.
that's controlled. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
It's just like kind of like jiu-jitsu. It could go crazy. It could go not crazy.
Yeah.
It kind of depends on who you're going with and like how hard you take it.
I know you've had to seen that video. There's a professor. It looked like some like third world country. Like the mats look like they're like these little tiny thin mats on like the dirt, and the professor's just like throwing this little kid like really hard. Do you know that video?
I've seen that. It's fucked.
What the hell was going on with that? That kid, like
That's fucked.
that kid had. I don't care who you are. That kid had to have been hurt after that. That's the picture that I have in my mind when somebody says, "Well, let's do some judo throws." And I'm like, yeah, man, like I'm a little big to get thrown around like that, but I just know that impact on the mat is.
Well, next time you're in San Francisco, I'll throw girls will throw each other around.
I got you. All right.
So one thing that you mentioned, like with the question that just popped in my head right now, like what do I like to see, like for judo in the U.S. is, or like in terms of jiu-jitsu and like difference in judo and jiu-jitsu. I would like to see jiu-jitsu in the Olympics one day, but I don't think that the way the IBJJF is set up right now is like it's gonna promote that. Like I like, of course, you know, like skateboarding, right? Skateboarding has X Games. That's the private company. That's not like it's private company, for-profit company. Yeah, they're still doing their things, but skateboarding is also in the Olympics. So it's like I think there's a world where IBJJF and the Olympics could coexist, but I don't think they want to see that happen.
I almost think that you would see MMA in the Olympics before that you would see jiu-jitsu. I feel like the jiu-jitsu community might get in the way of it. With ADCC, that's kind of our Olympics. Agree? Disagree?
No-gi. I would say it's the no-gi.
No-gi. Okay, yeah, true. No-gi, that's right. So it's specifically no-gi. I feel like we would fuck it up. The jiu-jitsu world would fuck it up. And then, you know, again, I think it would be easier to do like MMA. I don't know if MMA would be, I'm just saying like it would almost be easier to get like guys to do MMA because a little more, there's so much more structure to it. And there are essentially like established leagues, if you want to call it that, Bellator, UFC, you know. But then again, it goes back to like what they did with basketball, where it was like you had to be an amateur in order to compete. But then with basketball, they were like, okay, let's get the pros because we're sick of the U.S. losing, right? You know, so like where does it go? It's like, you know, are we gonna have like the world champions fighting in the Olympics to fight? You know, like that's kind of already happening. You know, I don't know.
And like in a tournament setting, it's like for MMA it would be hard because it'd be like how much damage could you take in like one day if you're gonna fight like a bunch of people?
Yeah,
in
that's
like
true
1 or
as
2
well.
days.
Yeah, I mean they do it for boxing, but I mean I think the rounds are shorter, right? But yeah, MMA is a lot harder though, right? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I would like to see jiu-jitsu at least one day. But I think it's also a numbers game. It's like the number of black belts per country is probably like, you know, in the US and Brazil and like these big countries, it's probably pretty high, but like, and it's getting higher all the time. Like there's black belts in America everywhere now, but like, I think these other developing countries that, you know, just got jiu-jitsu like not too long ago, I think it's just going to take time, but I would like to see like some type of push for Olympic jiu-jitsu. I think that would be really cool.
So you've done this with us twice before. For people that haven't heard the other episodes, we're going to do it again. So we're going to do
the drill down.
I'm actually mic'd up this time.
We spare no expense here. That we got our sound effects guy. So the drill down, I don't know if we called it the drill down probably last time you were on. So these are like the kind of the most popular questions that we get asked. So we just put them all, since, you know, I'm not giving a t-shirt to everybody who asks, hey, what do you prefer, gi or no gi? So if you did hear us use your question, reach out, DM us on Instagram, and we will send you your choice of a t-shirt or a coffee mug. That happens with every episode. So if you send a question, no matter what, if we use it, we read your handle, know that you're getting a t-shirt or a mug. All right, so we'll go through these real quick. So preference, gi or no gi?
Gi. Pajama gang all day. I've been actually doing a lot more no-gi lately.
Okay.
But still, I love my gi, man.
Awesome.
It's so cool that it's so fun to do, but it sucks that it's so boring to watch sometimes, gi jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
It's just crazy that something so fun could be like at the same time. Like when it's lit to watch, but when it's not, holy shit.
But when you're the guy doing it, it's like if you're doing it in practice, even when it's slow and might be boring to somebody watching, we're having a ball.
Yeah.
You know, even if I'm just holding you down, just like the little movements of me holding you, you can't getting out is like, so like, feeds the soul. Takedown or pull guard?
Takedown.
There we
all
go.
Day. Speaking of takedowns, I just did a Nogi judo seminar with J-Flow. Have you ever had J-Flow on?
I have
Justin
not had
Flores?
J-Flow. I know who he is. I have not had him on. I think we've spoken and he's been recommended. We've had a couple of people say to have him on.
What a fucking wizard, man.
Yeah.
That dude's D1 division
Put me
wrestler.
together in a chat with him. Open up like an Instagram chat. Just be like, hey, Milton, you got to talk to this guy. And then that's always helpful. Like people they realize that we know somebody and then they're like, yeah. let's do it. Is he in Florida? Is he out in California or is he here?
Nah, he's in San Diego.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, he's in San Diego, but like D1 wrestler, judo, like national team, Olympic level, jiu-jitsu black belt, dude, his skill is
I follow
so
him.
amazing.
Yeah, I follow him.
Yeah, 3-hour seminar with him, and it was just like so cool to see judo in a nogi setting. That was really cool for me.
Very cool. Music during rolling, yes or no?
Yes.
Preference.
Definite.
What do you're controlling the radio? What are you playing in the gym?
We're listening to EDM or gangster rap.
Yeah.
If Kurt Oziander is in the building, then heavy metal.
Yeah.
But I don't think Kurt Oziander's in the building.
Very cool. I know. I see you. Once in a while, you go out to the. I'm gonna date myself by calling it a rave, but like the EDDM, right? EDDM. I'm saying EDD. There's every door direct mail through the postal service called EDDM. So I'm saying EDDM. But you like to go to concerts and stuff. You like to go to the events, right?
Definitely.
I see you posting, right? I've seen you with your little your hoodies and your little ears and stuff and like panda stuff, right?
Having fun. Actually, the world's biggest rave is called EDC in Vegas in May. And the day before EDC, which is on a Friday, so Thursday night, we're having an open mat in Vegas. So the rave takes place in Las Vegas. So any ravers coming down to EDC, if you do jiu-jitsu, bring your gi. We're doing an open mat at Orient BJJ the day before. So that Thursday night, there's going to be a DJ.
What date is this? What do you know the exact dates?
They're going to have a barbecue too. It's going to be lit.
Do you know the exact dates?
Yeah. So it is May 16th, Orient BJJ. Open mat, DJ, barbecue.
Oh, so this is a couple of weeks. This is next month. All right, very cool. Cool.
And then the next day, there'll be like 300,000 people inside of Las Vegas Speedway. It's a huge rave, bro. It's like a whole town.
All right, next question is annoying things that coaches do.
Annoying things that coaches do. I think we talked about it a little earlier with just like, ego tripping, but annoying thing that coaches do. All my coaches are pretty fucking amazing, man.
Yeah.
We try to think of someone else's coach that's shitty.
All right, I've also done this one. Annoying things that students do.
Annoying things that students do. I think that annoying things that students do. I don't know. White belts do stupid things all the time.
Exactly.
I think when they're just trying to talk too much during the roll, sometimes it's like, okay, we can talk a little bit during, but like, just fucking roll, man.
Oh, you'd hate me. You'd hate me. I know, like when I've had coaches say something like, when you're trying to tell somebody to do something or to correct something, they're like, oh, no, I know, but I'm doing it like that. I've done that. Been that guy that's been like, no, but I'm doing it like this because of that. Like, just shut up, listen to the coach, do it his way. And if you have to, when he walks away, then go back to doing your way. But listen to your coach, learn that his way. There's usually going to be a reason, especially if he's a really good coach.
Yeah.
And you're going to figure that out. Even maybe if it's on your own later, you're going to go like, oh, that's why he does it like that. And it's better than my way.
I did think of one thing annoying coaches do, because I do this all the time and I have to catch myself and I have to be like, stop fucking doing that. It's like, as coaches, we're trying to like convey a lot of technique, and sometimes we show too much technique in one session. I think that like giving people time to drill is really important. So like muscle memory, like making them fucking drill for a long period of time. And sometimes I get like lost in that. It's like, okay, I'll give them like 3 minutes, but I want to get to the next thing because it's so cool. They'd be like, oh, this shit's so cool if they saw this. But it's just like, yeah, it gets annoying when like you just got in the groove of things, and then all of a sudden, all right, circle back up. We're doing something else now. So it's like giving people the time to get that muscle memory down is really important. And I make that mistake too, where it's like I show too much shit and then I'm debriefing with myself after class. Like, fuck, I should have let them drill a little more, like on instead and brought the next move like some later date, you know?
Next question is, what would you be doing if you hadn't have found martial arts? If you hadn't have found judo
What
or
would I
jiu-jitsu?
be doing if I didn't find martial arts? That's a good question, man. I think if I wasn't spending this much time on the mat, I'd be like doing something else like a psycho, like either whether that be like culinary cooking or like music production, making music. I would just do something over and over 6 days a week like a psychopath.
Are you somebody that can you not sit still? Like I find that I can't sit still. Like if I'm watching TV, I'm on my phone doing something work related, even if it's on social media, because social media is work for me.
Yeah.
So I'm doing something. I can't sit still. If I'm watching TV, I'm either doing that or I'm using it to fall asleep and take a nap so that I recharge and then keep on working or going to jiu-jitsu at night or something. Are you like somebody like that? Like you can't sit still, you got to be doing something?
Yeah, I don't like to like sit still too much. Like I like to be doing something. So like I don't really watch TV. Like sometimes I'll watch movies here and there, but that's like very rare. If I'm doing something, like I like to play video games, so that's like the only time like I'm like sitting still, but like I'm actually engaged in an activity. You know, I'm playing with my friends or doing something. But like even I was talking to one of the coaches at the university jiu-jitsu team. He's like, man, it's like some people are consistent, some people are not. It's just it went from the rainy season to being really sunny outside now, and like so like San Francisco's all like super nice weather right now. So like some of the kids, like they're college kids, they're gonna like want to go out with their friends to the park and do different things. So he's just like, man, why aren't they coming to every fucking practice? And I'm just like, I grabbed him on the shoulder. I was like, bro, they're not psychopaths like us. It's okay. They're not crazy jiu-jitsu freaks.
If I take 2 or 3 days off in a row, I feel guilty. If I take off, it's usually like I'm hurt, but I'm going to go to the gym and do some weights or do something else. But if I don't go for a couple of days and I don't do anything, like that just doesn't happen. I can't. I start to feel like a loser. I feel like, what am I doing? What am I doing in my life? Oh my God, I'm going to forget. Like in the back of the brain, it's like, am I forgetting stuff? Am I going to still like, yeah, you didn't forget it. It's like riding okay, a couple of days isn't going to affect your game that much. But I definitely, like, I can't sit still. I can't not do it.
For sure.
I'm definitely like routine. Like my day is planned out. My calendar, like I'm doing this. And jiu-jitsu is on there. Or I've even like got it filled in jiu-jitsu or the gym, like at specific times on my calendar. If I don't do that, like I feel like I failed the day. I failed the day, you know, like, so I have to do it. So I'm like a creature of that habit. Sometimes sometimes I'm like, fuck it, I'm not gonna, like, okay, put this calendar down. Let's not do that. Don't be that crazy about it. But I have to be doing something. And if it's like, if I'm just like watching TV or even like watching a movie, if I'm watching with somebody, like I'm with a girl or, you know, whatever, I'm on a date or watching like the UFC with friends, then I'll put the phone down. But if I'm doing that stuff by myself, I'm just phone in my hand. What could I be doing to make the business better? Send notes to people. Say, hey, tell my daughter, hey, do that. Like 9 o'clock at night, I'm sending stuff into like the chat that we have. Like, hey, make sure you do this. Make sure you do this. I'm sure she's sick of it. But like, I can't sit still. It's got to be something to improve myself, work, jiu-jitsu, whether it's watching something or doing like. But I watch TV to fall asleep.
Yeah,
that's what I
even when I go on vacation, like I bring my gi everywhere. Like I said, like I go train. I just tell my girl like, hey, I'm gonna go train and then we can be on vacation mode. But like I have to train. Like I just have to give me like 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
And then whatever you want to do, we can do it.
Does she not train?
Nah, she doesn't train.
No. No interest whatsoever, or
one of her best friends came to a few classes and I was like, oh, so you're gonna come by? And she just looked at me and was like, hell no. Yeah. She doesn't want to cut her nails, take out her piercings. Like it's just like, yeah, I get it. I get that part.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I need somebody that either does this or is obsessive about something. I'm not looking for like some like fitness model. I don't even like that. I don't find that attractive. But like jiu-jitsu, martial arts, something they have to be like, they have to understand this obsession and understand it's not necessarily an obsession, but it's a passion. And like they have to understand it, and it would be great to find somebody that shared that passion. You know, that shared that passion for jiu-jitsu or something fits related. Now, I always say like, I had a heart attack when I was like 43. Okay. So like, this isn't that much more important to me to be in shape and to be active and to not sit around and just be unfit. So like somebody that is just like, doesn't do something physical or doesn't understand that like stay home. You don't have to. Why are you going to jiu-jitsu again? Or when I go away, not like, don't bring your, what, you bring your gi? What can you can't like, you can't leave jiu-jitsu alone for one day. Like I can't. I had that, and I don't want that again. I need somebody that's like, go, because I know that it makes you a better person here, a better person here, and a better person to them. Like, you know, it makes me a better worker. It makes me a better, you know, better person in a relationship, better boyfriend, husband, whatever that may be. So like, I need that. I need somebody that feeds that and goes, oh, I recognize that. Like, oh, you're going to come back and be better, not, you know, like anxious or, you know, like I got it. Like I love weekends because I get it out of the way in the morning. It's like, oh, it's amazing. I got it out of the way. Oh, dude, I got my jiu-jitsu. Like I got my fucking jiu-jitsu in for the day, right? When it's not, when it doesn't happen like that, when it's like sometimes at night, it's like, oh man, I'm so tired. I always take, if I don't take a nap before I go to jiu-jitsu, I don't go to jiu-jitsu. That'll be a, that'll be a day off, or that'll be a weight training night. But like I work till like I work 7:30 to 3:30, and then I'm gonna take a nap like before 5, and then get up, and then it's just like maybe finish off some work, look at some stuff, whatever, and then stretch, massage gun for jiu-jitsu. Like that's my every single, if I go to jiu-jitsu, that has happened before. That's what I did at home. That's that routine though. So that's the routine. So I need somebody that feeds that and that understands that and knows that I'm a better person for it, rather than somebody that's like, no, don't go, you know? Which is what I had before. It was just like, really, more jiu-jitsu?
No, I'm super lucky to be with someone that's super supportive of the jiu-jitsu and the training. They understand. On one side, it's like, it's pretty easy for me, and probably you too, because you have the podcast, is to be like, oh yeah, it's for content.
Gotta work. It's work.
Right? But like,
it's work.
She understands that. Like, it just makes me much more happier just to like that.
I tried to convey in my previous relationship that just because it's fun doesn't make it less work. Like we are making money from this. This is money that comes into the household. So you have to understand that and appreciate that. Just because I'm smiling and I have fun, or I come back and I'm all excited about how much fun I had talking to a guest, doesn't mean it's less work. So anyway, all right, last question. You know the last question, and I forget if you are which side you land on. Do you or do you not wash your jiu-jitsu belt?
I do when it gets stinky. Not every time, but you know, at least once a month. Yeah. Probably, you know, training 5 days and throwing it in the bag. And then if you take it out of your bag and you didn't unzip your bag the night and you wake up in the morning, you're like, fuck, my bag's closed. It's like,
do I have cheese in my bag? I have not washed my black belt yet. Got it in December. Have not washed my black belt yet. I do use, what is it? Do I have it? Old sponsor. I still use it. Neutral Zone Clean. See it down there on the bottom? Neutral Zone Clean. I still have their sprays in their refill. So I spray with Neutral Zone Clean or Lysol. So because I feel like this is the belt I'm gonna have the longest, I would really like to continue to have that belt from my coach the longest. And I know, you know, I'm gonna clean it, but it's also gonna fray sooner. I used to wash it every session. I had 2 belts. At every belt I've had, except for white, I had 2 belts. So it was always just like throw one in the wash, use the other one. Like every night, everything went in the wash. So I did that up until brown, and I just haven't done that with black. But now I'm like, now I'm spraying it. Only I just, you know, I want it to last longer because I figure, you know, I'll be dead before I get a coral belt. So this is it, you know. So this is the belt, you know.
Thank you to Feito IT and AV, specializing in commercial and residential automation, security cameras, CCTV, POS, and more. Check them out at feitoitav.com or call 305-428-2515 and let them know the dummy sent you. Special thank you to the crew over at Flow and Roll for all their support. Flow and Roll is renowned for their incredible no-gi rash guards, shorts, and leggings. Flow and Roll has quickly become the premier custom apparel provider for academies big and small throughout the United States. Reach out today to discuss your custom order and ask about their incredible pre-order program. You can send an email to flowandroll@gmail.com or visit their Instagram at flow_n_roll and shoot them a direct message. And yes, they can create an awesome custom gi for your academy as well. Visit flowandroll.com to check out their awesome designs, and while you're there, pick up a Jiu-Jitsu Dummy signature tee exclusively at flowandroll.com. And remember, you'll get 20% off your purchase of t-shirts, rash guards, or gis with code JJD.
All right, Yoshi, brother, I appreciate you. Sorry for being late.
You're good,
thank you for
bro.
being patient, man. I always love having you on. I can't wait to meet you face to face one day. I got something
sir.
really interesting going on that's going to happen next year. That I'm going to invite you. Maybe we actually bring you out. It's not related. It's jiu-jitsu related, but it's not the podcast. I'm teasing a little something, but I've got something really interesting going on that I'd love to have you come out and just come out and enjoy the event. And I think it's going to be really interesting, and we'll like coordinate way before and like have you come out, put you up in a hotel, something like that. Probably going to bring out some of my favorite guests and things like that to come enjoy the event. But we'll definitely talk about that. And I'm gonna jump. Gonna run to an appointment. I'm gonna jump in the car, but in the car, while I'm driving, I'm gonna text you now. I'm gonna at a stoplight. I'm gonna text you those two graphics to give you an idea.
Safely.
And please use us for the graph. Like let my team do something for you and get you
please.
something for your sponsorships or something, and help out. Even a couple of bucks is a couple of bucks. Car payment is a car payment. Pay the food bill,
sir.
whatever. That's the way I look at it. So listen, appreciate you coming on again, man. Love doing this. Can't wait to have you in house one day. And thank you for everybody. That's you got any shout outs? I know we said show your role before. Yeah, absolutely. Do some plugs, brother. Here's your time.
So like I said, May 16th, Orient BJJ in Las Vegas. Come by. Day before EDC, we're gonna have a DJ, open mat, barbecue is gonna be lit. In Japan, I'm going to you in November, early November, I'll be in Japan. So Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto. Any gyms want to do a seminar, please feel free to reach out. I'll be training as much as I can in Japan, Judo and Jiu-Jitsu, so I'm pretty excited for that. No dates set in stone yet, but this fall, sometime in Colorado, Lakewood, Colorado, Imperial BJJ and Kickboxing, I'll be doing a seminar. Half Gracie black belt over there, amazing guy, can't wait for that. What else we got? Shout out Mike Tyson, about to fucking fuck up the pause. Shout out.
Is that really going to happen like that, where they're tag teaming him or something? Is that really true, or is that just like an internet
it's
troll
just,
thing?
Just one.
Yeah,
That's just a
okay.
troll thing.
Yeah, I saw something like, it's like they're going to be able to tag team him and switch out. I'm like, that's not happening. All right.
But shout out Mike Tyson. Shout out Dave Bautista. Dave Bautista's been a follower of Move of the Day, so I've been really happy to see him liking my shit. It just
that's awesome, man.
Amazing. Shout out Dave Bautista. Shout out Kurt Oziander, and shout out Joey Diaz. I know you train jiu-jitsu. Let's get something together. Let's train. Let's fuck some shit up, dog.
That's awesome. All right, brother. We appreciate you. Thank you to everybody for watching and listening. Check us out at Jiu-Jitsu Dummies for all the ways to watch, listen, and support. My personal IG is Uncle Milty BJJ. I don't use that one as much as Jiu-Jitsu Dummies, but you can check us out there. And just listen. Thank you for watching and listening, everybody. Peace, love, Jiu-Jitsu. There we go. We'll use it.